said, "Give it to me." And he charged hard at them. It looked as though he was locked up, but he somehow got it away to Cuthbertson, and with his footwork, he was able to get there. Jamie Soward from beside the uprights makes it a 2-point game. The penalty goal at the moment. Corey Parker is the difference. 8-6. 24 minutes remaining. Here's Wayman again. He looked long odds to get that ball away, didn't he? And then that was great work by Cuthbertson.
For a big man, he moves so well. He's got good speed and agility. And you can see the Dragons, they're pumped. Wayne Bennett moving forward in the chair. He believes his side can go on and win this. And it's so important, isn't it, to dominate field position. You give the team a sniff of your own 20. And that was the second set in a row that the Broncos had to defend, and they cracked.
Glenn getting some treatment back in the in-goal area. Not exactly sure why the referees decided we needed some time off there. Should have been play on. The Broncos were almost refusing to kick off until Glenn was up in the line. They should have been ordered by the referee to kick off and play on. No timeouts for injuries unless you're interfering with play in the NRL. He wasn't interfering with play there. Here's Cuthbertson, the try scorer. He'll play it for Young as it goes across to that right-hand side. Scott, good meters here. Ooh, looking to force a pass, perhaps. He hung on to it, though, and a good choice. Went back to the halfway line, though. Cuthbertson shrugging away from defenders. Linking up with Gaznia. What a tackle. Alex Glenn chopped him down. Gaznia, he was off and running had he beat Glenn. Now Soward puts it up, and the Dragons coming. Beale puts it down. There's an error. The first one the Broncos have made at their own end. And it will give the Dragons a chance to take the lead.
Well, they re-energised the Dragons. That was a great set of 6 by them. Gaznia starting to get involved. Cuthbertson, what an impact he's having on this contest. And they put the ball in the air. And Beale going up for it, spills it. And the Broncos are midfield, the Dragons, sorry, a midfield scrum. You speak about a big set of 6 in the context of a match. This is it. And there's still 20 minutes to go.
And it's Cuthbertson looking for a second try. He'll play it here. 5 metres out from the Broncos line. Young goes flat and wide to Wayman. He can't repeat the dose this time around, surely. Still standing there, though, and then looking for the line. How strong is he? The man they called the horse, showing why he's called the horse. Merrin, he's following suit. He plays it back for Young. Horn got an awkward one right there. Cray shows it to him and then goes back to the middle. He ducked in behind Cuthbertson. They've got 2 plays left from 10 metres out. They come back to Hornby, who hasn't had great service in the last couple of plays on this left-hand side. Cooper, he's locked up pretty comfortably on the last. It'll go back towards Soward, who kicks it across to Gaznia and Nightingale. The Broncos lose it again. Scott gives it to Boyd. He spins, looks to reach out and can't get there, but they've got 6 more tackles. Nightingale takes them on from dummy half. It is suddenly all the Dragons. After the first 50 minutes was all the Broncos. Scott at dummy half, feeding it deep for Soward. He comes to Young. They're camped inside the 20. Hornby gives it to Cooper. Nothing doing there. A good tackle made by Hodges. Morris is still out there with some tape around that right ankle, but he's playing on for the time being. Merrin taking it forward, picked up there by Teo, the lone try scorer for the Broncos. Young goes back to Soward. He double pumps it, gives it to Boyd. The pass behind Gaznia.
There was no panic in that defensive line from the Brisbane Broncos. They scrambled. They worked hard again from one another. and they lined up man on man. And Darius Boyd trying to find Mark Gasnier. The pass not going to the intended target. You can see, you can see the pass going behind Gasnier. And he was going to try and get on the outside of Jack Reed. The ball going across the sideline. Morris is in the hands of the trainer again.
Go on together. Mark, get
but they scrambled and they stayed composed. They didn't make a rash decision in defence. That's a sign of a confident football team. When you're under pressure, working together. You're not having someone in the team trying to solve the problem on their own. That causes confusion.
Well, after not getting a sniff at the Broncos 20 in the first half, the Dragons, they've lived there. 3 sets of 6. They have a try, almost a second right there at the pass from Boyd to Gasnier being a better one.
We've just got to get the football down the other end of the field. Good run again from Corey Parker.
He brings it back to the halfway line. Hodges with the carry from dummy half. Well, he's made some of those over his career, hasn't he? There he is trying to milk a penalty on the ground as well. It's no joy. And now Lockyer puts it up. Yee charging hard, but Boyd makes a tremendous catch. Well, players went everywhere, and the Dragons have given away another penalty.
You got the penalty
for running Broncos chasers off the ball.
Well, they've been doing it all night. It's the second penalty now. But yeah, Yee was trying to get in a position to contest, but the Dragons, you can see there, it's Hornby. And then it's Morris. They're not looking to do anything else other than shepherd Yee. And he doesn't get an advantage to try and contest for the football, but the Broncos are looking for a knockout punch here.
Hannett will play it. McCulloch puts it back on the inside for Teo. You can almost construe what Hornby did as a professional foul. That's how cynical it was. Here's Lockyer. They're stretched to that right-hand side. The Dragons and Wallace getting in behind them. Did he lose the ball? Yes, he did. They'll say there was no strip. And things are getting a little bit fiery out here.
Loose carry.
Well, Peter Wallace is not happy. He's claiming that it was stripped. There it is there, and he's got a case. He's got a case. Jamie Soward, hand on the football, raking it out. No wonder he was blowing up. But the next scorer in this match, it is Bond. Whoever can score next, I believe, will win the game.
There's a prediction. Here's Nightingale to play it. The Dragons scrambling to work it away from their own 20. The Broncos fired up, especially on that left-hand side. Wallace involved in that tackle. Now Wayman, good run. What an impact he's had since coming off the bench in this second half. Young out of dummy half, going to Soward. They go wide again. A pass going to Hornby. Doesn't go anywhere near hitting the target. He has had some terrible balls delivered to him from both dummy half and also Soward in this second half, and it cost them all the momentum that Wayman had earned the hard way. Here's Beale. What a sight he is, loping back to the halfway line. He moves across the turf so beautifully.
Yeah,
he's an athlete, isn't he?
Great return from Beale, but it was also great work from the Broncos forwards. They got off their line, and Darius Boyd had to kick. He was looking to give it to Soward, but he would have placed Soward under pressure. And they're looking here to go in for a killer blow, the Broncos. They sense it's that time in the match. They have to assert their authority if they're to go on and win this contest. They've been under the pump, but they need to respond.
There is Parker. Takes it just inside the Dragons 30 all. Did he lose it as well there? They'll say no, he only just hung on to it. Wallace will kick it. Back out towards Brett Morris, under pressure once again. That's tremendous. Barely able to get out of a trot at the moment. And again, they went back to him again. Hornby ends up on the ground. It was Yao Yi and Hodges doing the chasing. Oh, and he can't get up this time. That was such a courageous play by Brett Morris.
Oh, he's doing his utmost for the team. He's staying out there under duress. He's in all sorts. He's leaving the field now. Dean Young, a great carry of the football.
It'll cause a reshuffle on this left-hand side. We'll wait and see what they do as Gaznia brings it back towards the halfway line. The Dragons do have Matt Pryor, of course, who has played plenty of centres for the Dragons in his time. And he might well have to defend on the wing. Of course, Ben Cray began his career as a winger.
I don't think I'd have Ben Cray out in the wing. I think I'd have to use Cooper out on the wing, Pryor in the centre, and keep Ben Cray defending where he was. Now there's a total mix-up in their structure with Pryor, Cooper, Hornby and Cray on the wing.
Well, here is Glenn. And for the moment, it is Cray defending on the left wing for the Dragons. And you'd imagine the Broncos, one more play here, they might take themselves down in a position to kick towards him. They run it, they read, gives it to Copley. Great hands down the left-hand side by Brisbane. And it was the youngsters linking up Beale, Reid and Copley. And they make it again, a converted try, the difference.
He missed an opportunity in the first half, Copley, but they played the numbers so well. And it was wonderful hands. Beale onto Reid, onto Copley, over in the corner. The youngsters, they celebrate. They put the Broncos out to a 6-point lead. Kick to come. They knew they had to respond there, the Broncos. They were challenged.
It's the Dragons who had the edge as far as experience coming into this game tonight. That's an important miss, isn't it? With only 12 and a bit remaining on the clock. An 8-point buffer would have been tough for the Dragons to come back from.
Just the timing of those passes, they needed to be perfect, and they were under pressure, and they were. If they passed too early, they allow the Dragons to move off onto another attacking player. But the youngsters, under pressure, make the right decisions. They execute their skill well. And the Broncos have responded from the challenge from the Dragons. Have the Dragons got one last effort in them?
Josh Maguire is back out there now for the Broncos, and Anthony Griffin, he makes a good return off the kickoff. He clutches at his eye, boy. He had a detached retina earlier in the season, several times in recent games. He's had that eye checked during the course of the game. A little knock around the head once again there, but he's okay as McCulloch, well played. Wallace giving it to Parker. 30 tackles in the game for Corey Parker. 20 hit-ups as well. Now here's Beale. Isn't a Bronco? He's a thoroughbred the way he covers the grass. They're back just beyond the 4. Lockyer doing the kicking, putting it over the head, or trying to put it over the head of Boyd, but he was deep. Back there underneath the black dot. And he was waiting for the kick, and now Nightingale bringing it back. We saw him cramping up a moment ago. They've got troubles on the edges. And if they're going to do it, the Dragons, you'd imagine it's the big men in the middle. You're going to have to create something once again, as they did when Wayman was able to put Cuthbertsons in to make it a 2-point game. Now Hunt takes it back to the 40. Approaching the 10-minute remaining mark. As Young from dummy half gives it to Hornby. Goes back to the middle. Pryor, or rather John Green, is out there now getting his first touch of the game. He's waited a long time to come into this contest. And now a midfield bomb. Beale under pressure once again. Well, he might have knocked down one of his own teammates. Such was his desire to get to the ball.
It's Darren Lockyer.
He might have cleaned up Darren Lockyer. He has. Lockyer has been left on the ground clutching his jaw or a cheekbone. He got caught up there, floating back with the flight of the ball, and Beale came at him in a